So we're here with Matt DeFazio, DeFazio's Pizza.
Yep, Albany and Troy now.
Second location.
Yes, second location is going great, attached to Albany Distilling Company. So we really are a one-stop shop, which is great. You know, you walk into our place, you know, you can order pizza, give you the table number, you go next door to Albany Distilling, go to the bar, get an amazing cocktail, beer, wine, and then go find a table, set up shop. I say best hidden, gem patio in the whole capital region.
So you guys are sharing your seating space.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It is. It's, it's one of those things where John Curtin and I were in an SBA class, and, he did his final presentation on how bad he needs someone to do food, and, kind of busting his chops a little bit. I was like, your ideas suck. Just let me put it in a pizzeria. And he was like, are you serious? I was like, we can sit down and meet. And we did a bunch of times, him and Rick and I. And now, we made it happen. And definitely, I think we're both very, all three of us are very happy. Both businesses are very happy, and it's going well. And we're doing weddings there. We're doing, because it seats like 160, I think, is the total capacity inside and outside.
I've seen some pictures on Instagram. It looks pretty badass.
It is. And, great live music. Chen, the bar manager, is always booking great stuff. And the menu, like I said, is phenomenal. So it's great. We love being there.
So you get to focus on food, not have to worry about any of the bullshit that goes on with the booze.
Definitely not as much, yeah. Booze. Oh, yeah, none of the booze, yep.
Yeah,
so it's
nice.
good.
They make it there. It's easy for them.
Yeah, that's true, right? Yes. That's really interesting.
How long have you guys been set up there now?
We did our soft opening from basically September to October. So in September, I don't know if the actual open date was late August. It was right before school started. So we'll be coming up on a year at the end of the summer. So we'll have a big year anniversary party, I'm sure. And, just keep feeding a lot of our customers that we've had for years that live in Del Mar or Gilderland. And they're like, hey, why am I going to cross the bridge? I can just go to Albany. So we've seen a lot of Troy regulars. I'm there usually on Thursday nights, and I love love seeing a Troy regular and be like, yeah, come here now. Great. I love that. You don't need to come to Troy. Troy is always rocking and rolling, so it's fun.
Nice. And now, before we started recording here, we were talking a little bit, and I think your father started the business in the 80s.
So my grandfather and grandmother started the import store in the 50s. Father in the 80s, 89, and then I came on in 2009.
So let's go back even further. So when you say the import store, so tell us what that was all about and how that got started.
So the import store was opened in 1951. One of 260 mom and pop shops in Troy alone.
No kidding.
Three Italian places right on our block alone. And there was Polish places, German places, there was bars. When you include just mom and pop owned businesses, 265 in Troy, and we are the only left that is still run by the same family.
No kidding.
Yeah. So
Dad takes over the physical location.
So it was, my dad opened up the pizzeria next door in 1989.
Okay.
Which was, great. We were the only wood-fired pizzeria within 80 miles.
Mm-hmm.
I think the next closest was whatever was closest to New York City. And so he did wood-fired pizza, and he actually did a smoker. And so we smoked meats and did ribs and pizza.
So would your grandparents still import some of the goods, and then your dad would use those ingredients to make pizzas and smoke meats and do all that stuff and sell it out there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
So, and it just so happened, I graduated in 2009 from Siena. My grandparents both passed away that year. And, my dad moved into the store and worked there full-time. And, of course, was still in the pizzeria. And then I went full-time in the pizzeria.
When did you go full-time in the pizzeria?
2000, right when I graduated.
Oh, okay.
Obviously all summers were full-time, but graduate college, 80 hours a week.
Is the store still running?
The store's still going.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Your dad's still running it?
Oh, yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, he's still there. 6-7 days a week. You know, we both are. So
It's amazing their work ethic. Like Matt will be there. You know, it seems like 24/7.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hot in that store, especially in the summer. Especially in the summertime.
Well, it's just how are you coming up on 5-year anniversary wedding or 4? 4.
Yeah.
I told him how rehearsal dinner.
Yeah.
I said we had yours and another one like back to back that weekend. It was like 100 outside in the backyard. So it was like 130 in the kitchen next to the wood fired
No
oven.
kidding. No, yeah, it's hot, man. I grew up working in a restaurant, so I definitely worked in some hot kitchens.
It is hard. Man. I mean, it's hard work. You're standing next to a fire.
Yeah. I remember I worked in at a quote unquote yacht club up on Lake Champlain, and the kitchen was like the size of this room that we're in, and there was one window, and it was like maybe the size of like, you know, my iPad, and it would get open, we'd get a little fan in there, and it was so hot, man. You'd just be sweating. We'd be freezing terry cloths, and then putting those over our heads and stuff, and on the back of our necks. And yeah.
Very much a thing.
It very much did, yeah.
Yeah, the wet claws and put them in the freezer.
Yep. Yeah. Hot kitchens, man. God bless you guys.
Yeah.
So how many employees you had? So obviously, so you took over let's start there. Just kind of give people an idea of scale of what it was when you took it over from your dad, and then what you have now. So you took it over. How many people do you have working for you?
Oh, we had 3 employees. You know, basically 3 full-time employees. Everybody else was just, you know, helping out at night. And now, you know, equivalency probably, you know, pushing like 25 full-time employees.
Wow.
So
that's a huge
significant growth.
Yeah. I love it. It's funny too, man, because I know a few second and third generation business owners, and I love to see like my buddy that owns a plumbing company up north, and like, you know, these guys are killing it with, you know, when he was growing up, it was like his dad had like 2 guys. It was basically his dad and like 2 guys, and that's what they did. And then son came in and just like put in processes, did all this stuff, and now they've got like 10 different crews, 12 different crews going around all the time. Now they're, you know, it's awesome to see that kind of growth, man, like, and what people can do.
Yeah, it's, you know, and I'm sure it's the same way. He wouldn't have been able to do it if his dad, you know, didn't stick around and help. And,
yeah,
you know,
absolutely. His dad's still involved. 100%.
Yeah. I think it's tough for it to get passed around generation to generation when, you know, and totally respect it when the guys want to sell it or give it off to their, you know, son or daughter, but then they retire. And they're just like, yeah, you know, we're retiring. We're going to go play golf in Florida, you know, 5 days a week and do whatever we want. And that's when I think, you know, a lot of them fail.
Yep.
You know, so it's great. You know, that sounds like probably a great business to be in, plumbing in the north, and you know,
I just always love seeing that, you know, what the next generation can do off of the, you know, standing on the shoulders of giants, so to speak. You know, like you take what your dad did, and then you come in, and you're like, hey, I think I can make some improvements here. I think, you know, so tell us about some of those improvements. Like, tell us, you know, what did you do to take it from, you know, 3 employees, roughly speaking, to where it is today? Like,
you know, the biggest thing, you know, at first was probably bringing, you know, a backyard wood-fired oven to Empire State Plaza in the Troy Farmers Market and in front of the SUNY building on Broadway in Albany. You know, and that all stemmed from a couple from Colorado walking in, eating the pizza like in June, and they ate in their car, came back in and was like, yes, it's the best pizza we've ever had. Can you cater our wedding? We're getting married at Shaker Barn. Didn't even know Shaker Barn existed, you know. Right. And I was put on the spot a little bit. I knew we had this, you know, backyard wood-fired oven sitting in our garage that we've never done anything with. And I was like, yeah, okay, to your wedding, 100 people, sure. You know, and so...
Hold on, let me interrupt. Yes. We just last week, last Thursday, was it? Mm-hmm. We interviewed Jennifer Lawrence from SEAT, S-E-A-T, and we had the same conversation where it's like, You gotta love entrepreneurs because someone asks them, "Can you do this?" And the entrepreneur goes, "Can I make money off of that?" "Yes, I can." "Yes."
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm gonna do it. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure that shit out, man. Like,
Well, they came in like late June, July, early July, and then the wedding, they're like, yeah, wedding's in like 5 weeks, 6 weeks. So I was like, all right. And so I put it in, my mom's Tahoe, because this literally is just a stand and a 600 pound oven that's made of like steel, and it's just, you bring it. We brought it back up to my parents' house, and every Tuesday night I'd get off work, I'd bring 5 pizza doughs home, and I would invite, my college friends over, because this was right after I graduated college, and I would just make pizzas, and I learned how to use the oven because it was totally different, because there was no direct heat. All the flame is underneath, and then it's separated, and you can literally fit 2 16-inch pizzas in this thing at a time. No more. And so that, I used it. The wedding went great. A couple of things, obviously went wrong, but for the most part, it went great. And then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go and do this next summer. And my dad was like, yeah, go for it. So signed up, went Wednesday and Friday at Empire State Plaza. The first summer, did great. Almost killed myself at least broke a foot the first day we did it. We almost dropped it, putting it back in the Tahoe. Like 500-pound oven. We lost the handle, almost dropped it. It was me and my buddy Casey. And I was like, all right. I got home that night, went to like Tractor Supply and bought a trailer. I was like, this has got to come off and on a trailer. So we actually picked it up for the first 4 summers. We would pick this thing up and down, and then finally, like you said,
good thing you're young.
Yeah. Well, so my younger brother came on. He was an accountant. He came back to the business, and he was like, you can't keep picking this up. Someone's gonna, because the one guy burnt his neck the one time, and so then we went and got a hydraulic. A little liability. We went and got a hydraulic lift the next week. Yeah. It's always something like you said. It's you react to something that happens and then you change it. Yeah. So, but that was big, because when I got out of college in 2009, everyone was like, oh, DeFazio's, like, you're that small pizzeria in Troy, like hidden gem. That was like the only 2 things that everyone would associate with. And so that was like kind of my thing. I was like, we're not going to be a hidden gem anymore. We're going to go out. So being there helped. We saw all these Albany people kind of stop, and they had the pizza, and now they wanted to, come to the shop. We expanded the backyard dining was always something, because my grandparents had this beautiful garden, for 60 years, and they had passed away in 2009. I probably started that up in like 2012 or 2013. And I wanted people to, you want to see people, what you're doing, take pride in, the property that, has been there since 1951. And so we made the backyard nice, and, every year it gets better and better. And now it's kind of like the garden at DeFazio's. So we have the backyard dining. Just keep making our business more attractive, I would say, is how we grew the business and getting it into the hands of people. Because, we had this guy, this adjunct professor from RPI. He traveled the world. He was from Spain, and he would say, he's like, you're my favorite pizzeria. My other favorite pizzeria is the one next to the Vatican in Rome. And he was like, this is better than that. And, you'd have our customers come back from Italy trips or from, travel to New York City, and they'd be like, the pizza was really good in Italy, New York City, and Chicago. They're like, yours is better. And so, kind of got the feeling like, all right, we can make this bigger, we can make this better. And, we did, which was great. So we're just going to keep it going.
Yeah. So, when you're looking at making it bigger and better, and maybe not bigger, but maybe better, or whatever it is, like, what does that process look like for you guys?
I mean, it starts with the dough. We have this wooden walk-in cooler that was built in like the 60s, all wood, that my grandfather had made. So that's our biggest refrigeration space. So we've definitely, you start to make more dough, and you try to proof it for 48 hours in there, and then it's ready to go. So first thing when it comes to food is, how are you making the amount you want to make, and where are you storing it? And how many hours a day are you spending doing it? And so, we're able to kick out a good amount of dough in a short period of time. It's kind of like you said, get the timer in the kitchen, get guys, paying attention to how quick they're actually making the dough, how much time it's mixing, how much time it's taking us to roll, get it in the cooler. Same thing with the sauce. We had to double our big pots of sauce. We've doubled. We just have your kitchen at home is probably bigger than the space that my dad makes his pizza sauce on, but it works. And we've added another stovetop next to him, so he's able to make 2 big giant pots of pizza sauce at a time. He does that 6 days a week at least. And, in the food production, definitely, you have to have the labor, and you have to have the product, and you have to have somewhere to store it. So that has definitely been challenging, but like you said, you just add another refrigerator where you can. We have a garage space, and just try to have as much storage as possible for that dough and sauce and cheese, and take care of the rest.
Yeah. What do you think, along the way as you're coming through and you're growing and doing better and trying to be better, and what do you think maybe the biggest challenges that you've seen as you come through there?
It's easy to say labor, right? And at the same time, it's funny, labor, but not labor. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like we get 90% of our staff from just employee recommendation. And we've always done that. It's
business.
Yeah, because, we think it's a fun place to work, and, we have a great time, and we don't try to put too much pressure on our staff, because we're always there. Right? We're there all the time.
Yeah.
And so if a problem arises, I'm not a phone call away. I'm 2 steps away. And so I think that makes everybody feel pretty comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I coached basketball for 10 years at LaSalle, so I was able to get a lot of good LaSalle guys, and then they'd go to college locally. So, we have some very loyal employees who've been with us for double-digit years. And that's why a lot of them are part-time, but we have been able to find some full-time recently, and that's great. And we just keep looking for more full-time employees, of course. But we alluded to it before, working in a kitchen, there's not too much glamorous, attributes there. It's tough work.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody there's a lot of ways to make money nowadays. You can, figure out just about...
Make bracelets and sell them on Etsy if you want.
Yeah. Yes. And so there's a lot of ways. So you have to just make it more enticing for your business to be there. Having, you work alongside your friends and work alongside good people. I would say that's our, it's our strength, but at the same time, it's, definitely a challenge, because you just got to keep, as a growing business, you got to just keep finding more bodies and more people who share your passion for food and customer service and, hard work ethic.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know it's filling 3 seats on the bench, what you're doing when you first took over, versus filling 25 seats on the bench, man. That's, a lot of constant recruiting efforts, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's not like you fill the spots on the bench and then you're done.
Yeah.
I mean, we're interviewing people right now we don't even need, just because we know that we're going to need them at some point. You know what I mean? Like,
we always your bets.
Yeah, we just always keep that process rolling, where we got a resume, and I was like, set up a time. And they're like, are we hiring? I'm like, no, but set up a time, because in 2 weeks, who the hell knows what's going to happen in 2 weeks between now and then when they come in. But, yeah.
And I mean, you guys make everything from scratch too, so the number of processes that you got to walk these guys through, I'm sure, is pretty extravagant. For somebody new coming in, having no idea about the restaurant business and making food. So, like, what's the key, I guess, in your opinion, to be able to coach these guys and get them through, the training process that you have set up?
Yeah. So we make our own sausage. make our own meatballs, dough, actually 5 different types of dough. So you have a garlic herb, a whole wheat, organic, multigrain, spice or pepper, brown ale dough. We make those all in-house. And, our chicken cutlets, our eggplant cutlets, all made in-house. And so, keeping up with inventory, I think was a big thing when we started hiring more people. And they'd come in and I would show them, how to make, let's just say, the eggplant or chicken. And then they, I'd be coming down to work and they'd be like, yeah, man, there's not enough eggs. I'm like, oh, crap, So I just have to stop and, I didn't order enough eggs. I didn't do this. And so that was a big challenge to, all right, you're not just doing it yourself. People are there. You got to make sure to have the product there. So don't drop the ball on that. You got to spend, I'm sure you got to spend money to make money. So buy more inventory. Just, keep it stocked up. And then, I think with, my dad and I are the ones showing, the staff what they're doing. It takes a few times to show them because we always, we kind of do it old school, which is, watch me do this. My dad does it more. Watch me do this and then let me know. Where I've tried to get into documentation of, hey, this is how we do it. Here's a folder next to, the telephone right there. Yeah. I know you might know how to do it, but look at it every time.
Right.
Just look at it because there's things that I forget and I've been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah.
And, I think having, I like to think I have a lot of patience and probably from, being, born and raised in this business has done that to me where I now know what is a big deal and what's not a big deal. If someone drops a gallon of sauce, sure, that sucks. But what am I going to do? Yell and scream at the 16-year-old who did it?
Learn from it and move
Just,
on.
hey, next time, 2 hands, go a little slower. Because really the big deals are, missing a 20 pie order that you forgot to, print up for the kitchen. Like those things are bigger and you get more, when it comes, just have patience. Having patience with staff is, I think, huge. Because I guess when people come over and they might say some different experiences from working other places, I would say it's a tough thing for a business owner to have is patience because there's only so many hours in the day, and you got to get it done. You're only open for X amount of hours. You got to sell the product you have, especially with food. It can go bad. So I think there's pressure that we try to alleviate from our staff, and just being in business for a long time will help that.
Yeah.
Very hands-on though, which it's the common misconception is you have a great business and then you're out golfing every day and it's a complete opposite. Like if you're there, you still got to have your hands in everything and you got to make sure that the product, especially it is what it is. It's a name, and I'm the same way in my business. It takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of time to develop people and get them used to your processes. So that's awesome.
I know I've definitely tried to over the years. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, I took July and August off. It was kind of an experiment. I was thought I could do it. So I took off for July and August. I basically answered some emails, forwarded some emails over to some employees. It was great. I was on my motorcycle every day, blah, 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 hanging out with my kids. And then we got through August and got into September, and I'm kind of clocking back in, so to speak, and thinking everything's going great, and nothing was going great. I literally, in the next 30 days, lost almost $200,000 worth of revenue in business, because while I was gone for those 2 months, even though we have all these processes and all these things going on, they were just not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they were just not telling me, and so all of a sudden I was I started hearing about, we just lost this client, lost this client, and I was so I started calling them, what happened? And they're well, shit's just not getting done, man, we called so-and-so, and he kept telling us it was going to happen, and after, 2 months, and I hear that, I'm 2 months, I was gone for 2 months, shame on me.
I mean, you definitely, I'm sure it's great. At the same time, it probably sucked, but now you're man, experiments usually do show you something.
Yes.
Where the holes are.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh
really.
yeah, definitely did. It's and then we tried the whole experiment for 2021 with hybrid working, and that didn't work for us either.
I think
tricky.
I think a lot of people. I obviously don't know anything about it, but I from what I hear, it's the companies are trying to hold on, but they all have to reel back eventually.
There's a lot of different opinions, a lot of ideologies. It's good in some ways, and we're kind of seeing it with some of our office staff, and it's remote is good because, well, if you're sick, you can still work from home, or if you have something going on, or if you live an hour away, and whatever, you save that hour commute. So I mean, there are positives to it, but the intangibles of actually being in front of somebody and being able to have that interaction, that's where you lose out. And I mean, especially if you're in a leadership position, you have to have that communication, an interpersonal relationship.
Yeah, I know for us from a collaboration standpoint, it made creating in a collaborative environment was just almost impossible because we'd have like one meeting per week, we'd all be in here, and then people would be in the office and out of the office throughout the week, and we try to get face to face, and sometimes we have Zoom calls, but it was just wasn't the same of being able to like right now when Mac's creating videos, and then I'm there, I'm grabbing somebody, I'm like, hey, what do you think of this? And we're looking at it, and we're talking about it right there. It's just a completely different vibe. So anyway, I love experimenting and falling on my face. So speaking of my mistakes, what do you think biggest mistake you've made is over the last few years?
The biggest mistake, it was probably I was so focused when online ordering was really starting to be this big thing a few years ago. I started to use Grubhub first. Use Grubhub, sales. Definitely drove sales. Hopped in with Blake on Melio. Had sales coming. This is going great. Sales are going really well. Had Slice. So it was it was probably, I don't know what month it was. Maybe it was like November. But I realized that we had either missed or just didn't complete or completed like 3 hours late, almost like 30 online orders on a Saturday night. And, it was, I sat there and either text or called every single customer from that group and apologized. And apologized and, made sure they knew either they were going to get their money and, got rid of Slice the next Monday. And then, so then I said it was too many, got rid of Slice, and then we had Grubhub and Melio, and, going to that SBA class actually was a huge help because, you had to show like, what do you think you can change about your business that'll help? It was one of the bigger like assignments, and I was trying to figure out, I want to get down to one online ordering platform, and I brought in numbers, and it was a lot of construction companies in there. It was the SBA is really, I would recommend it because you being able to sit down like we were just talking about with 10 other business owners was a great experience. And we went through and we're like, you just got to get rid of Grubhub. So we got rid of Grubhub, just went with Blake at Melio, and that has been a blessing. To having 3 online ordering platforms, even having 2 was too many. 1, I had it, and you could see the front of the house would scramble almost every night from like 6 to 8, and it made sense. I was putting too much on them, like.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
It was just way too much. 3 different iPads. I mean, it's if we were a brand new business, maybe I would have stuck it out longer and had them keep going, but we didn't need that stress. You know, we have a great reputation and great product. So, and that's what those third parties do. They're there for businesses who hey, we need to drive sales, so let's hop on another one and see what we get from this one. It's really a roll of the dice to see, because you're giving them so much money to do your marketing. Sometimes you're delivering, and your payment processing.
Yeah.
And so sure, those are three important things, but obviously now there's been so many different stories of at the expense of the business being able to operate. And I think it's getting better. It's still hard to tell if consumers are starting to realize, like, I really shouldn't use Grubhub. Because either I'm paying more, right?
Or they are.
Or the businesses. So you're literally you're helping out another big corporation that doesn't need the help.
Yeah.
And, customer service, horrific. It's so horrible that you can't even imagine. And why? It's because, you're talking to someone who, doesn't actually know anything about your product. They're hiring a different company, and usually not in the United States, to do that. So it's tough. Hopefully, like I say, it's getting better.
Yeah.
People are using either Grubhub or DoorDash less, and trying to use, and I think and other businesses are, realizing it too, and either creating their own with a local guy, like Blake, or just, like you say, or just increasing the prices. So now you're paying for that lost revenue that they did when they first started, because they didn't really maybe know better, or, just wanted to try to get you in the door. But now they got you in the door, you love their product, they have to do something to help the business. So yeah, I would say that's the biggest weakness.
Yeah.
Maybe mistake.
Yeah. What do you think the secret? I think I know the answer to this, but what's your secret to success?
Work ethic, I would say, resiliency. Because as a business owner, we all fail so much. There was a few years there where at the end of every week, you're just like, man, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't get this done, you screwed up this order, and it humbles you. At least my business does all the time. As much success as we have, there's still a lot of failures that you drop the ball on, and you just have to be resilient, and you're just like, all right, do better next time. Just like you told that 16-year-old who dropped the whole gallon of sauce on the floor.
Right.
Yeah, you do better next time. Don't do it again. And that's what nobody's free of mistakes. So just own it. Owning those mistakes.
You still take that stuff personally?
If I screw up, like, I guess the big orders, like IBM ordering 45 pizzas, or Generon ordering, but, I still want to nail all those on the head, and if we drop the ball a little bit, it's not as bad as I used to be, but still, it's, still think about it. So I always,
still in your mind.
Still in your mind, yeah, exactly.
But,
you still take that stuff personally?
It's good because it keeps you motivated to get better, and that's, I think, for us, every time we get feedback and say, well, we can't do anything about that now. Yeah. So, what are we going to do tomorrow to make it better and to fix it? And, we'll sit down with our team and say, all right, guys, here's what we got. Where did we go wrong? We'll just break down the entire situation and figure out, okay, well, what are we missing? What process can we put in place? And we move on. There's nothing else you can do at that point, But
you still take it personally?
I get it. But yeah, I mean, you do a little bit because it's the reputation.
It's you. It's
what you're delivering.
Yes.
So absolutely. I mean, you do, but
I mean, I know that we're all trying not to, and like, yeah, I definitely I try to take it less personally, like you said, than I used to.
Yeah, used to. Oh, you said.
And I know, you know, but I still it'll still.
Oh, I used to have they used to wake me up, like you said. I used to actually have like dreams about them, similar situations.
Yeah.
But that was only like 4 or 5 years ago. I used to have those.
And I hammer on it just because anyone listening, I think, especially as they're coming up through, you know, and I think it's an important lesson that everybody learns at some point in time is, you know, especially when you're newer, younger, smaller business, and you're really hustling, and every order matters more. You'll be sick about mistakes and things that went wrong, and then as you get old, you know, as you kind of go through it more, it's like, I don't know if you get calloused or if you toughen up, or I don't think you care less. I think
you live through it enough, and you know that you're gonna be okay, you know, and you realize that, you know, just because there's a mistake that happened or a failure here or there, it's gonna be all right. Like, keep moving on. But it's when you let that consume you and shut you down for a period of time, that's when it'll really bite you.
Yeah, I mean, it used to at least ruin a whole day. If not a week. You know
I used to say like a month. I was like, every day for a month, I will think about this. That's what I used to say.
Yeah. It's and now it's feedback. I do love that saying. There's no failure, only feedback. And I try to, but I still now I only hold on to it for a couple hours now, and then look at, do I need to refine the process? Do I need, you know? Yeah. It's tough, man.
It is.
So, work ethic.
Work ethic has to be there. You know, I think. Unless you kind of have a product that really is, almost like a necessity, right? But not, pretty much all the necessities are almost taken care of now.
Right.
So yeah, I would say work ethic and patience and, passion.
So what's a typical schedule look like for you, Matt, on a weekly basis?
Weekly, so, we're open Monday through Saturday. Usually always, I drop my 2 boys off to daycare and head right in. So usually there by 9:30 every day. I have 3 long days where those are the days I close. So 3 long days, and then 3, definitely now that I have children, better than I used to. Like the short days used to be like leave at like 8:00 at night. Now they're 6, 6:30. Those 3 days, and the other 3 days I'll go home and help my wife, feed and shower the boys and get them ready for bed, and then I head back at like 6 to close out those nights. And then, luckily we have great staff, so on Sundays we have to just make doughs on Sundays. So I have 1 or 2 guys who are able to do that. So I do mostly, for the most part, have Sundays off now, which is great. That just started, maybe like a year ago or so.
After how long of really not having a day off?
Oh, well, 2009, you'd have, and there's those spurts where you really have to you can get a few batches done and you're out of there in 3 hours on a Sunday.
Right.
But there was definitely a point where it was 6 hours every Sunday. So.
Do you feel like, having time off, and we've talked about it on earlier episodes, it's been huge for a lot of the entrepreneurs that we've had in the seat. I mean, has that helped you in your growth and expansion, you think, having that day off? Yeah,
having time off is great, and I think, being involved in something else is great. I used to have coaching that took me away. That was a great help, I think. And then we just got to the point, having our first child, took me away from that and the growth of the business, because that last year I actually had missed a game that I shouldn't have missed. It was my first one that I just literally couldn't leave because we were so busy. It was a Friday night. Obviously games are Tuesday, Fridays. So that was even, that was as much eye-opening for me. And then, I would at least have, said it a few times, doing the SBA class, so having that other commitment, is great. So I would say having time off / other commitments that will kind of help you think about the business, but also take your mind off it. Obviously, coaching was like having another business. So I would use things from both to implement, and I think that helped me out a lot. So time off and commitments are good.
So I gotta ask with the coaching piece. You went to Catholic Central, right?
Yep.
So you're coaching at LaSalle. What's it like? What was it like playing against your alma
I
mater?
mean, at the first couple of years, it was definitely strange, and then you get used to it because you realize, just like entrepreneurship, the coaching in the schools are just one big carousel as well. Everybody knows everybody. It's really the kids have that rivalry.
Yeah.
The coaches, not as much. It's definitely more of a player student relationship. So you always, game nights are always the best. You look forward to seeing the other coach. Talk a little bit with them before the game. Usually not after. Definitely not after. And then, it's just that that lead up. It's kind of like Friday, Saturday night.
Yeah.
In the pizza businesses, it's gonna be nonstop. Time is gonna be gone just like that, and your game's gonna be over. Your shift's gonna be done, and you made it. Made another Friday night, another week. Saturday night, and it always feels good. You feel accomplished, and so that was good to go back to Catholic High, and now especially they're moving all together, so nobody's going to be going back to Catholic Central at least as of right now. So it was good, and I loved my time at LaSalle. It was great. Coach Scambolori, now Principal Scambolori, he's doing great things with the school there. So I look forward to seeing both their growths. I think both people always love to talk doom and gloom. This high school's going to close, this business is going to close. Those are the people who know nothing, usually. They know nothing.
And it's amazing because the private schools, I mean, they have to run like a small business because, let's face it, changing and adapting to the changing times, I think it's great. New opportunities for people. So
yeah, just like it's CBA, same thing. I remember being in 8th grade probably and being like, oh, Catholic High is gonna close in X amount of years. Well, how many years? 2005, almost so many years later, it's not still going.
Yeah. That's great.
Because they figured it out. They solved the problem. They come up with a solution. Right? I mean, I think that's part of the addicting part of owning a business is like you continually are given a set of problems that you need to find a solution for, and it's like, it's exciting. It's fun.
It's very fun. It is, yeah.
It's fun in that painful tearing your fingernails out.
Yes.
Kind of, like for runners, when they lose all their toenails from doing long runs, it's kind of the sweet taste of success right there is losing all your toenails, but you love it at the same time. So as weird as that sounds, everybody. So. What about, I know, kind of talking about it, do you sit down, do any kind of planning, goal setting for the year for the business?
Still, I would say I'm definitely not as good at that as I should be. A lot of it is, up in my brain, and then you try to, usually my goals are pretty big, so I don't think it scares anybody off, but I guess I worry that it might scare employees off and the growth. Like everybody obviously thinks we're so busy now. How can it get any busier?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not obviously how I think. It's we can always be we can always do more things. And opening up a second location, it's funny. I always thought that if we were to open up another location, it wouldn't be within an hour range of us, because I looked at it as, we already had a lot of customers from outside of Troy coming to Troy. So it's like, we can go further out and we can get a further reach. But now being in Albany, really enjoying it and kind of being attached as a collaboration with it is, hopefully we can, maybe this is a business model we can take, to Saratoga, to, maybe do, collaborate with another business that is doing great things and, going, kind of streaming our product to make it easy and attach right on, and because it's been great, I would say that's definitely a goal that's there, but at the same time, to plan it out, usually I'm more of a happen organically person. So
what now did I see a picture of what's his name from Barstool on your website?
Yep, yeah. So
what
we had the
pizza. What do you score you?
Ours was one of like the longest reviews in history.
Really?
I guess, yeah, almost 10 minutes, and it was phenomenal for business. I always say there's in the last couple of years, the pandemic was a huge business growth period, and then of course the Barstool is a huge business growth period, and
he's like the Oprah of pizza places.
I realized I knew how popular Barstool was, but I guess I didn't realize, kind of like, I guess people definitely would talk about Oprah and just the feelings that people feel because of him is, hey, it's great. I say everybody's got to have somebody or, something to look up to and, feel connected with. And he has definitely figured out a way to connect to people, and they're passionate and supportive. And it has been, great. And obviously he loved the pizza. He did one of those where it was like an 8.4, but maybe it was an 8.7 or 3.84.
But the fact that you're in the 8s is amazing with that guy. So.
And then
he can be brutal.
And then what's even just as popular is our Italian hangover cake. Because I gave him a slice of that. It was funny. I didn't know if I should just stand because he ate outside. I didn't know if I should stand just on the other side of the fence and listen to the review. But instead, I was like, maybe I'll just see if I'll just go plate up a piece of hangover cake. It's literally my favorite dessert in the world.
Yeah.
And I plated it up, and I didn't even know if the review would still be going on, but I brought it out, and I was like, hey, want you to try this. And, that knocked his dick off, as quote unquote.
Unquote.
Yeah.
What's in a hangover cake?
Di Serrano, Grand Marnier, vodka, orange juice. And it's this cake that my mom makes that is just so good. It's just one of those things, knocks his dick off. And, it definitely made the review, like I said, one of the more popular ones. And people feel passionate about trying that hangover cake and seeing if they feel the same way. And I would say it definitely delivers. It does. It's a great dessert.
It sounds delicious.
Yeah. It's, you think about sweetness and liqueurs, those are like the two of the oldest dessert favorites, in history of mankind.
Right now in my head I have almost like a tiramisu, but with all the yummy stuff that you just mentioned, with the vodka. And
and we just started making our own tiramisu recently as well. So you can try that. So it's.
Once I'm back on the sweets, man, I'm coming down.
We'll make an afternoon of it.
Yeah, absolutely. September. I'll see you in September.
It'll be nice and cool. You'll eat in the backyard.
Nice.
You'll have some great wood-fired pizza, and then you'll have a hangover cake or tiramisu to wash it down.
Tear that up.
It is. You're gonna, and what's great is you're gonna want to take some home, because everything, what's great about our product is a lot of people have this, they think that wood-fired pizza needs to be had right out of the oven.
Yeah.
That's the only way to have it, and that does stem from in Naples, they put their pizza in like a brown paper, just like a sub.
Yeah.
And they just fold it, they don't cut it, and they eat it. And that's where that stemmed from. So you have to have it right out of the oven and you eat it. It's like a quick lunch or snack for, a lot of Italians. but our pizza dough is so unique that you can drive it 3 hours away and heat it back up in your oven, and it's just
So
as
gonna be
good
good.
as out
Nice.
of the wood fired oven. So
And one thing that Matt hasn't touched on is the gelato. Do you guys make that?
we
homemade
make
as
that
well?
We were
in-house.
talking about
We
it
made that
before the
before we
show,
started.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we are always readjusting our kitchen, and because it's been there since the 50s, in the import store. So we took a little break, but we're gonna start it back up very soon. And the homemade gelato, I know it is so good.
The sea
It
salt
is.
and olive oil.
Yes, we make this. I still remember the first time my brother purchased the type of vanilla that he wanted to use in the vanilla gelato. I almost killed him because of how much it was. And I told him, I was like, John, this better be the best vanilla ice cream or gelato I've ever had, or else I'm not buying this stuff. It was just so astronomically expensive. And then I had it, and I was like, this is the best I've ever had. This is the best. I guess we'll keep buying it. And then, we would do it with the sea salt and the extra virgin olive oil. And people kind of like the hangover kids, like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Gelato with olive oil and sea salt on it? What the hell is this? It's so good.
Yeah,
it's
sounds
addicting.
good.
Yeah.
So, last question. If you're going to give the listeners one piece of advice about being a business owner, entrepreneur, growing a business, whether it's first generation, second generation, or 18th generation, what would you tell them?
Commitment. Be committed, and be committed to, what you are going to provide as a service or a product, but at the same time, certainly be ready to pivot millions more times than you thought you were gonna. Because, whether it was, in 2009 when we only had, 3 of us there, we were pivoting then, and, we have 25 employees now, and we're still pivoting all the time. Because the world is ever changing. Like, what people want is always changing. So if you think you have this product that you're never going to have to change, and it's going to be, you're going to be set for life, usually not the case. Mm-hmm. It's usually you have to do some adaptation, or if it's like us, the weather affects our dough, so we have to change. Mm-hmm. And you just have to be ready for it. And don't hit the panic button. Don't hit the panic button. I think a lot of people hit the panic button, and then after they hit that button 50, 100 times, then they just, they say, okay, enough is enough. I'm done with this business. So I think the less times you hit the panic button, the more times you will be, your longevity will be there. So.
Perfect. Well, we appreciate you coming all the way up,
Thanks,
man.
Matt.
Coming on the show.
Anytime.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me, and look forward to seeing you in September.
How do people, if they want to order some hangover cake?
So DeFazio'spizza.com. Make sure you hit Albany or Troy, and you can order online. You can walk in and order. I suggest not doing that after basically 4:00 any night of the week, especially Friday, Saturday. And on Friday, Saturday, call your order in around 9, 10 a.m. because it's usually a 4, 5, 6 hour wait.
No kidding.
Every Friday, Saturday, and even sometimes on Thursdays.
That's great.
So we do. It's one wood fired oven. You can only fit so many pizzas in there. So it's a long wait, and that's been like that for 5, 6 years now. So obviously with the pandemic and with the Barstool review, it's only gotten longer now.
Gotten longer, yeah. And you guys are on social media?
Yep, so Instagram. We just started our TikTok recently, so we've started to dabble in that, and so we just keep trying to find all the avenues to all the consumers.
Nice.
Before we wrap, you guys do have a new location that's going to be coming up pretty soon, right?
Yeah, so our full restaurant is getting closer and closer. We've been working on, it feels like since 2009, but not quite that long. And that'll be a full restaurant. Be able to have birthday parties, showers, different events in there, be able to use the great space behind us on Hill Street, the outdoor space, the old marketplace for events, which will be so cool. And just making Troy, bring the downtown a little bit further south, and making it one big cohesive city that is very attractive to people all over the world. So we see it with RPI and with what the city's done to the waterfront. It's becoming a very popular place to live and do business in. So we just keep trying to hopefully help that out.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Until next time.